What are multitracks and how do you use them in church? If you have those questions, this video is for you. Good day everyone, John from the Worship Portal here, and in this video we're going to go through multitracks. So firstly, what are multitracks? So put pretty simply, multitracks are each individual stem of a track or each individual instrument or channel of a track, separated so you can take some out or play along with just what you want to. We'll go a little deeper into it and you'll see what I mean. But why would you use multitracks? So I see some people use my tracks in church to help supplement their own worship team. So what that could look like is if you have a drummer and a bass guitarist and an acoustic guitarist on this Sunday, you would just take those instruments out and then leave the electric guitars playing or some backing vocals playing or something to help just sort of fill out your sound. I see other people using my multitracks for covers on YouTube in a way that enhances what they're doing. So say for example, you have somebody doing an electric guitar cover of King of Kings or whatnot. What they'll do is they'll actually get my multitracks, they'll take my electric guitars out, or at least a couple of them, and then they can play their electric guitar on top of my track without mine getting in their way, if that makes sense. Is it for everyone? No, definitely not. Some churches love the super spontaneous feel, and some churches have a worship team that can really recreate the sound that they're going for with just what they have. But honestly, that is not every worship team, and especially these days with worship songs being so synth heavy and having 4 or 7 electric guitars sometimes, not that that's necessary, but having something to supplement what you're doing on stage and to help enhance the experience can really help people encounter God in a different way. But this video is not to talk about the theology or should you use multitracks, shouldn't you use multitracks. This is just a video showing how you can use multitracks at your church or for your covers. So what are you going to need to actually use this tutorial and use my multitracks? Well, firstly, you're going to need some of my multitracks. You can get those from theworshipportal.com or from my Patreon. Secondly, you're going to need an iPad or a computer, something that can download the Loop Community Prime app. I love the Loop Community Prime app because it's free. To get a couple of multitracks going and to play around with it, it is also free. And it works really well and you can do some really cool things with the multitracks on the fly. I'll show you what those are. So here are the step-by-step instructions on how to use one of my multitracks. Okay, so I've got Loop Community pulled up here. It's just loopcommunity.com. First thing you need to do is create an account. It's free, don't worry about it, super easy, no big deals there. And then what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna see this little upload cloud icon up here. Just give that a click. And then you'll see this page, which asks you, how do you want to use this track? Now, when you're using my tracks, you always want to hit this personal use button. Never sell because you're not allowed to. Also on this page, you'll see that you only have 300 megabytes of upload. That's about enough for 2 or 3 tracks. It's good to kind of play with it and see if it's going to work for you, but it's really not enough if you want to start using all of my tracks, for example. You're going to need to buy their Loop Community Cloud. It's pretty inexpensive per year, but look into that if you're interested. And then the next thing we have to do is upload our zip file. So when you download one of my multitracks, it'll come in a zip file ready to upload into Loop Community. So let me just navigate to my Finder. These are all of my multitracks. Which one should we do? Let's do Lord, I Need You. That's a fun track. Just click and drag it. So what you're gonna see is it's gonna start uploading this, and it'll take a little while to upload as well as process. It'll take a few minutes. Of course, that's depending on your internet speed. But while we're waiting for that to upload, we can actually get some of the information typed up and out of the way. So all you need to do for that is hit continue. You can see it's still uploading. And just go over here and hit continue. So let's input some of the information. The song's called Lord, I Need You. Since this is the Worship Portal's version, like not even just the Matt Maher version, but this is my own version of it, I'm gonna put in the Worship Portal. Ultimately, you can put in whatever you want. This is really just for your reference on your database of songs. So you can put Matt Maher or the Worship Portal or whoever wrote the song. Now you have some pretty key information here. in the BPM, which is the beats per minute, how fast the song is, the time signature, as well as the key. So where do you get this information? Well, you can get this information from theworshipportal.com. So let's go to theworshipportal.com, if I can spell it right. Worshipportal.com. Now, since we're doing Lord, I Need You, if you scroll all the way down, you'll get to a search bar. This is the quickest way to find what you're looking for. Just type in a little bit of it, it should search. And then you can just go click on Multitracks, or the all 12 keys, doesn't matter. Both of these will give you the same information. Now just scroll down a little bit and you'll see the arrangement information, right? Here it is. This has the information you're gonna need. So it's in the key of B, the tempo is 61 beats per minute, and the time signature is 4/4. So let's jump back to Loop Community. The beats per minute was 61, the time signature was 4/4, and the key was B, right? Very straightforward. Now you can upload some custom album art. You really don't need to, it's not a big deal. Let's go back and see if our song has finished uploading and processing, which it has. It says uploaded 100%. If you're not able to click the continue button on that other page, it's because it's still processing, and it'll say processing here. But this is all done. So let's hit continue. Make sure this information's correct. Lord, I Need You, Worship Portal, 6144B, that's correct. Let's hit continue. Now on this page, this is going to allow us to name the tracks. This is pretty important to know what track is what and what you're turning up and down or what you're trying to mute. So this is pretty important, and you're not allowed spaces in these. So I use underscores, and you can't have two things named the same thing. So let's go through these real quick. We'll see what I have the original WAV file named. So you'll see 2 Qs, Lord, I Need You, B, WAV. What that means, 2 is just the track number. Qs is what the track is called, or what I've called it. You can call it whatever you want. Lord, I Need You, which is the name, and then the key. So the Qs are my voice going chorus 2, 3, 4. If you've heard my multi-tracks before, you know what that is. It's important that you keep Qs as well as click, named Qs and click. Don't change those. I'll show you why that's important later on. But let's go through the rest of these. Drums, percussion, pad, piano, bass, strings, acoustic guitar, electric guitar. Okay, here we come up with an issue because we have 2 named electric. If you look at my names, I have electric guitar 1 and electric guitar 2. So I'm just going to do _1, _2. You may need to tweak these names a little bit. This one wasn't too bad, but Loop Community, it just needs you to format it a certain way. Once that's looking good, hit continue. And then it says good job. All you have to do is submit. Hit the big button, submit. Done. Now you can go to upload another track, or you can now use the Loop Community Prime app on your computer or your iPad. So let's jump over there. Okay, so this is the Loop Community Prime app. It's empty right now, it's fresh, nothing on here, it's a brand new account. All right, so the basic layout of this screen is we have devices and MIDIs and outs. You really don't have to mess with this too much. You have edits. This is where your waveforms will show up, and I'll show you that once we import. On this left side, this box is where all the tracks are going to be, and you can control them. This is your set list, and these are your playback controls. A lot of this will make more sense once I import a track, so let's do that. Let's hit Add Song. Amazing Grace by Loop Community is already there. It's something that they give you for free. But you'll see that we have Lord, I Need You by the Worship Portal in B, BPM 61 here, that was just uploaded. So let's click that, and let's click the original. It's going to download it. It is going to ask you to name the set list, so let's just call this TWP Test for now, but you would call it whatever your Sunday is, or whatever you want really. So now you can see when this downloaded, some of this makes a little bit more sense, right? So you've got your waveform, this is the song, and the arrangement area, and I'll show you that. And then this is what it looks like with the tracks. You'll see they're named here: acoustic, bass, drums, electric. And you have an on-off button if you want to turn something on and off. And then you have a solo button if you just want to see what that track is doing at that particular time. This is also why it's really important that you kept those two tracks called cues and click, because you see they're actually red here. That means by default, they're going to be panned to the left and everything else is going to be panned to the right. This is important when you're playing these at church because you're going to be sending two channels up to your soundboard, one with the click and the cues, the other with everything else, because you only want the band to hear the click and the cues. You don't want your congregation to hear that. So that's why it's important to keep cues and click named cues and click, because Loop Community just does that by itself. All right, let's hit play and let's see what happens.
Intro.
So that's the click and the cues.
3, 4.
So if you're wearing headphones, you'll hear that all the instruments are coming through the right ear and the click and the cues are coming through the left ear. Normal, absolutely fine.
Verse 2, 3.
So I'm going to pause it because I want to change that just for what we're doing because it's a little disorienting if you don't have it set up right. So let's go to settings and I am going to turn the pan onto stereo. Now
4.
Now it's all centered. Just sounds it just sounds a little bit better for as we're going to be messing with this. I'm going to jump into a larger section of the song and just show you what some of these do. This looks like a pretty good spot. Let's hit play and see where we are. So we're in the chorus. I'm gonna turn some of these tracks on and off and then solo a few just so you see what they do.
Bridge 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 4. Tag 2, 3.
As you can see, it's pretty powerful, the fact that you can solo an instrument just to see what it's doing and how to play that part, or just take out a few instruments depending on what you want to cover or what instruments you have at church, and to just kind of thicken up your sound. But now, what if you want to do a particular arrangement that's a little different than mine? Or what if you want to just sort of see where you are better? I can't tell where in the song I am just based off the waveform. I think this is a chorus, but I'm not sure. How do I know that? So that's an extra step that you don't have to do, but I definitely recommend you do it with every track. And that's to set up the arrangement. Setting up the arrangement is basically telling Loop Community where the choruses are, where the bridges are, and then you can arrange them and flip them and jump to a specific section. It's very, very helpful. Luckily, it's really easy to do as well. So let's hit the edit button up here next to the waveform. And you're going to say edit markers. So now you see that Loop Community, because it knows how fast the song is, what the tempo is, which is 61, it's set up bars here. So these are the bars of the song. We can zoom in a little bit because we want to. And then once we hit play, let's see where we are.
Intro.
All right, we're coming up on the intro.
3, 4.
Okay, so that's where the intro starts. So we want to mark that. So let's scroll back a little bit. This is where it starts. Let's double tap. Then we get this option to say, what is this? So this is the intro. Let's hit add.
3, 4.
So now So now Loop Community knows that that is the intro. Let's see when the next section is.
Verse 2, 3.
Okay, so the verse is coming up. That's coming up right here. Double tap. We can say verse 1. Add. Now, I want to show you what that sounds like and what that's doing to the track. So let's hit save, just temporarily. Let's zoom back out, and you'll see it's doing a couple of things. It's color coding the track, which is just helpful visually. It's also labeling. So this is the start. I means intro. V1 is verse 1. The other thing it's doing is it's replacing my click with Loop Community's click and my voice with arguably a better voice for using it live on stage. So let's give it a listen and see what it's done. Ooh, I don't like that click sound, and you probably don't either. I'm a fan of Loop Community's digital sound. So if we go to our settings, we can actually change the click sound. I like the digital one. The Q sound, so these are different voices. Yes, there's Phil Wickham and Meredith Andrews. Let's change it to Phil. Why not? So let's see what that's done to the track now. See, a much more sharp click.
Intro, 2, 3, 4.
And it's Phil Wickham talking to you.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
So what I'm going to do is now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and finish up the rest of the song and cue it all out and make sure Loop Community knows what it is. Because you already know how to do it, I'm probably going to fast forward or skip it, and I'll see you at the end. So let's go to Edit, Edit Markers, hit the plus button to zoom in, and let's go. So there we have it. It's all set up with markers. Let's hit save. Let's zoom out just so we can see it all. So like I said, it's color coded it. It's arranged it into a way that Loop Community can make sense of it. And we can click and drag it. So if you wanted to switch things around, add bridges or something like that, all you do is hit edit. You hit edit arrangement, and then this is where you can really just kind of click and drag and move stuff around if you wanted to. Super helpful, very straightforward and easy to do. What if you don't want to sing it in this key? Or it's too slow? Lord, I Need You. I actually slowed down quite a bit from the Matt Maher version. So what can you do about that? Well, Loop Community is very helpful because they've given us some amazingly powerful tools built in this app. So let's jump into the chorus, and we can change the key or the tempo just with the click of a button. Let's check it out.
4. Interlude, 2, 3, 4. Verse 2, 2, 3, 4.
So as you can see, just with the click of a button, you can speed it up or change the key to whatever you need it to be. The other cool thing that you can do is you can turn up and down whatever you'd like. This on the left side is basically a little mixer, and you can customize that to whatever your band or your cover is calling for. So let me hit play at this next chorus, and I'll show you what that looks like when you turn some things up and down. So as you can see, it's a pretty powerful piece of software. Now let's go through a couple of real-world use cases. I mentioned 2 cases at the beginning of the video, and I want to show you how that can work. The first one is when you want to do a cover, and let's say you want to do an electric guitar cover. So you're going to be playing a lot of lead, a lot of high stuff, whether you're playing the melody or the guitar parts or just kind of improvising. This is how I would do that. So set it up. Let's jump back into the chorus. Set it up just like we did, and it's as simple as turning the electric guitar 2, which is the lead line here, turn it off. Maybe you want to turn the strings down a little bit so your guitar shines through a bit more. And maybe you want to turn electric guitar 1 down a bit too, because you don't know where exactly you're going to go. So we have electric 2 off, electric 1 and the strings down, and let's see what that sounds like. As you can see, that can be really helpful for creating a cover that isn't fighting with itself. Too often I've seen electric guitar covers where the guitar you're playing is just fighting with my line. I see it a lot on my Goodness of God track, and this would really help avoid that happening. The other use case I gave you was if you have a band at church and you want to use these to help supplement and thicken up your sound. I found the best way to do that is to discover what you have on stage and then also what kind of feel you're going for. So let's say you have an acoustic guitar on stage, you have a drummer, you have a bass guitarist, and that's about it. This is a great way to use this track. So once again, let's go toward the end of verse 2. Let's turn everything back on temporarily, turn it all up. So what did I say you had? You had an acoustic guitar, turn it off. You had a bass guitarist, turn that off. You have a drummer, turn that off. Now electrics, when you have just that on stage, sometimes electrics cutting through is not what you want, but you still want that feel, that sort of bigness and the grit that an electric can bring. So let's just turn them down a little bit. Let's turn the rhythm down maybe 1/3, and let's turn electric 2 down maybe 2/3. Not out, you still want that sound coming through, but it's a little weird if you've got a lot of electrics playing in the track and you don't have any on stage, right? So let's see what this sounds like as your supplementary band. Hang on, your piano player just showed up. Okay, good to see they're here. They're usually the ones that don't confirm on Planning Center, but they're here now. Okay, let's turn the piano off because we have them. The electric's probably still a little loud. So I hope this has shown you not only how to use Loop Community and my Multitracks, but also some of the reasons why and how best to get what you need out of them. Do you use the Loop Community Prime app, or do you, hang on, I'm still wearing these, let's get these off. Do you use the Loop Community Prime app? Do you use something different? Let me know down in the comments. And what are your thoughts on Multitracks in general? How does your church use them? How do you use them in covers? Do you like them? Do you not? Let me know that down in the comments as well. And a big thanks to my Patreon subscribers. You guys are really helping to push the channel forward with your monthly giving. It really does help a whole lot. We're able to do some really fun stuff at the channel just because you're giving each month. And if you're not giving on Patreon, it's a great opportunity to start. It's always a great time to start. As little as $2 a month, you get some awesome perks, and you get that nice warm fuzzy feeling that you're supporting your favorite YouTube channel, right? Just head over to patreon.com/theworshipportal to get involved there. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know any questions you have about Loop Community down in the comments, and have a good one.